Hello, comrades, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to continue our reading of the collected works of Comrade Kim Il-sung. The reading for today, on the occasion of the formation of the Democratic Youth League of North Korea. This is a speech delivered at the Conference of Representatives of the Democratic Youth Organizations in North Korea, 17 January 1946. On the occasion of the formation of the Democratic Youth League of North Korea, I would like to express my warm congratulations. The remarks I'm going to make concern your future tasks. When the Korean people were emancipated from colonial rule of Japanese imperialism, the historic task of building a new, democratic Korea was set before them. This task remains unfulfilled to this day. The Japanese imperialist aggressors have been defeated, but there still remain the remnant forces of Japanese imperialism. In South Korea, the reactionary elements, among them Sang-nam-rae, are making foolish attempts to put the Korean people of today in old-fashioned, horse-haired hats and bind them again in imperial fetters. Therefore, the major fighting task facing us at present is to uproot the survivals of Japanese imperialism and develop politics, the economy and culture of Korea alongside democratic lines. The Korean youth do not yet have a broadly based organization of their own. This means the conditions do not exist to form a national united front on mass scale. In order to form a national united front, it is necessary to set up a broadly based, united, and democratic organization of young people who are to be the mainstay in building a new, democratic Korea. Since we have dissolved the Young Communist League and formed the Democratic Youth League, the DYL should not take over the YCL program as it stands, but should, as a matter of course, put forward its own program. A large number of youth still remain outside the DYL. This is because the DYL fails to conduct the proper explanatory work on its democratic program among the masses of the youth. If the DYL had put up a democratic program and conducted exhaustive explanatory work, the youth would all have joined it. The DYL should build up its strength to begin with and achieve the ideological unity of its membership. The principal fault of the Korean revolutionary movement in the past was factional strife. The factionalists were engaged in factional feud solely for personal gain. In olden times, the sectarian feud of the feudal rulers ruined our country. During our anti-Japanese national liberation struggle, too, the quarrels of the factionalists did much harm. The factionalists did not fight Japanese imperialism. They were engrossed in feuds among themselves. This factional strife exerted a very bad influence on our youth. The youth should not tolerate any manifestation of factionalist tendencies in their ranks, but wage a resolute struggle to expose and crush the factionalists. There must be iron discipline in the DYL. The factional feud arises from lack of strict discipline. If neglecting and carrying out the decisions and directives of the League is left unchecked, this can give rise in the long run to factions. Just as any army lacking iron discipline cannot win battles, so an undisciplined youth organization will be of little avail. The training of youth cadres is another important aspect. Today, we have very few cadres. The shortage of cadres places serious difficulties in the way of nation building. True, we are short of cadres mostly because our young people grew up under Japanese imperialist rule. Another reason, however, is that the DYL failed to take energetic steps to train cadres after liberation. It is wrong, indeed, to think that cadres can be trained by educational institutions alone. It is of special importance to train and temper them through practical work. Therefore, a system should be established for young people to study while working. Study material can be either given to those on the job for self-study, or once every few months they can be called for short courses about matters relating to their relevant work, and they can be sent back to their jobs. If we apply these methods alternatively in getting people to study diligently, we shall be able to raise their political and practical qualifications noticeably. In order to help comrades dispatched to the factories and villages in their work, checkup should be made and errors criticized in time. To criticize is to educate. Without criticism, there can be no progress. Criticism is an important means of educating cadres. We should not summarily, comrades, dismiss those who have made mistakes, but explain to them clearly where they have gone wrong, educating them carefully and working together with them. It is necessary for the DYL to have its own institutions for training cadres. It is advisable, first of all, to organize a short-term cadre training center and select and enroll promising young men and women for training. A system of guidance and inspection should be established to check up constantly on the activities of local DYL organizations. The provincial DYL committees should send guiding personnel to the counties to teach the officials of the country DYL organizations how to conduct their work. In turn, the county DYL cadres should go to the sub-counties and educate their DYL officials and consolidate their organizations. Further, statistical work should be carried out in a proper way. It is a serious drawback that the DYL has no statistics. In future, the DYL should compile good statistics concerning the registration of its members and various other matters, and on this basis, draw up a detailed plan of work so as to do everything in a planned manner. The pro-Japanese elements who have wormed their way into the DYL should be cleared out to the last man. This must not be regarded as a matter of concern to merely a few cadres, but to be presented as a primary task for the whole league. At the same time, assistance should be given to the Democratic Party in expelling alien elements that have slipped into its ranks. We should associate with and exert a positive influence on progressive elements in the Democratic Party, actively helping them to clear their party of alien elements and to achieve its development. In conclusion, I should like to emphasize once again that our youth must clear out the remnant forces of Japanese imperialism completely and work energetically in the vanguard to the struggle to build a new, democratic Korea. I want to thank you as always for joining us today for our reading of On the Occasion of the Formation of the Democratic Youth League of North Korea by Comrade Kim Il-sung. As always, this has been Study Juche, and until the next time, bye-bye, take care.